Hi everyone, it's great to see you. Today is a day that I have been looking forward to for a while here. Today is the day that I start moving hydrangeas into my unheated shed. So about a month ago, I said, what should you be doing for your macrophylla hydrangea? And the answer was nothing. They needed to go dormant. So here we are in 6B, maybe 7A, according to the new charts. And it is December 2nd. So on my calendar, I marked December 1st as the day where I should start thinking about moving the hydrangeas and other plants that I want protected in the winter into the unheated shed. So anytime, around December 1st. December 2nd is when I could get to it. Really, in the next 2 weeks, you're probably good, even by the end of December, because you want those plants, especially your macrophylla hydrangea, time to be out in the cold. They're going to sleep for the winter. You want them to defoliate. So here is one of mine. This is City Line Vienna, and all the leaves have fallen off of it. It is officially dormant. I can tell where it is going to grow next year, which is great. Those are the little buds now that I want to protect. They still need to have that dormancy period and that cold, but being in the unheated shed, they're protected from wind. It will give them a little added safety. Do I do this for every single plant? No. Just those that I have in these bags in a pot. So what I can do is I can lift out this hydrangea now, and we know that in planters, plants really are exposed to the elements much more than in the ground. So these hydrangea really would not be able to overwinter if they were just left out here above ground. They might do okay if they were planted in the ground, but I love them in the planters each year, and by bringing them in, it does protect them enough so there's a much better chance they're going to bloom. This is the 3rd year that I've done that for these, and you really can keep your hydrangea in bags like this for 6 years, 10 years. They're going to be very happy this way. So I figure if it works for me, I might as well keep doing it. So I've lifted out this bag. This is the part that I will overwinter. Now this part here, you have a choice. I take some of these and put them up against the fence or the side of the house so they do have a little windbreak. This one's going to stay right here. I have some lemon coral sedum. Lemon coral sedum is hardy to zone 7 if it's in the ground. It probably is not going to make it here in the rim gap, but I'll just leave it. It'll die off. I'll pull it out next spring, no problem, and replant it up. Let me show you where I'm working on these to get them ready to go in the shed. So here I am in the backyard, and I have taken all of the bags in the pots out and just have the bags back here. I have 19 of them that are going to be overwintered. And a lot of these are being stored in the shed because these particular varieties of macrophylla are really hardy to zone 7, so I'm pushing it a bit. If I put them in the ground here, this is really going to help guarantee that they flower for me, even if we have one of those late frosts. So because they're all different varieties, they look different at this stage. So here is City Line Vienna, completely defoliated. I didn't need to do anything to it. And here we have Everlasting Revolution. Has a lot of leaves on it, still has its flowers. I have a lot of fallen leaves that have made residence in the bottom. So normally, if this was planted in the garden, I wouldn't worry about that at all. I would just let the leaves come off in March if that's when they were going to fall off. But because they're going to be inside, I don't want these leaves falling off throughout the winter, retaining moisture, growing mold sitting at the bottom of the plant. I don't want, for that sake, like any of the oak leaves sitting here growing mold or harboring any insects. So this is the time where, yes, you should just deadhead the flowers and remove any leaves. So you're just cutting the leaves off and those flowers that are dead. You do not want to cut the buds. And that's really key because that would go against the whole reason for bringing them into the shed. So I'm just getting underneath, trimming the flower, just going to the base of the leaf stalk and trimming that. And I have a whole bunch here to do. So let me show that to you closer. So here we have 2 leaves, but in the middle we have that bud for next year. These just break right off. Or if they didn't break off, I would trim them right where they attach. But I'm very careful to protect that bud. Let's look over here. So on this stem, I have a dead flower. I'm going to pull it to the side and clip right underneath it. Now I have a leaf here. It's probably going to pull right off, but if not, I'm going to clip it right there. Here's another leaf falling off. Oh, look at those 2 buds right there. I want to make sure I don't touch those, and I take the leaf off. So here we have a blossom. I'm going to clip right underneath the blossom. Here we have a leaf. I'm just going to take it right back to the stem. And now down lower, I have some buds that are going to give me next year's blooms. So I have all of the hydrangea moved into the shed, and I'm actually going to move some of the Japanese maples that are just babies in there too. And this happens to be, let me double check the name, this is a winter flame coral bark. I don't know if you can tell against the white here, you can tell the bark is starting to turn red, which is what coral bark Japanese maples do in the winter. I just think that is so cool. I'm very excited about this. So they're all sealed in there, and they are just fine. Now, I always get people who ask me, what do we do about watering? Well, the plants are dormant, so they don't need that much water throughout the winter. I will check on them once a month. So I set on my calendar January 1st, February 1st, March 1st. I come out, I open it up, and I just sort of stick my finger in the top. If it is still damp, and I have to say these were pretty damp. It had rained maybe yesterday a bit, so I was almost thinking they were a little too on the wet side. You don't want to have any root rot in there either, so it's a fine balance. But I put them in. My guess is they will get through the whole winter. But if you do feel that your plants need some water at that once a month time, I would say no more than 1 cup of water a plant. And then they are just fine, and you take them out in the spring. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.